And I guess sort of going along with that is, just in case, always carry with you a little bit of money in the currency that the country you're in uses. Just in case you really find yourself in a situation where you really need to go to the bathroom and the cafe or restaurant refuses to let you use it without buying something. And also, I noticed that in some of the more touristy areas, they're more likely to charge you to use the restroom. And yeah, I'm just warning you, this is a tiny, tiny rant about something that happened to me the last day of my vacation, which my family and I were in a pretty touristy area, and we were hiking up the city wall. And towards the end of our walk, I started realizing I really needed to go to the bathroom, and my parents were a bit behind me, and I couldn't get their attention, so I exited and tried to find the bathroom and got to the public washroom and saw a sign that said, €1 for the bathroom. I was like, okay, can't use that, because of course I didn't have any money on me. It was all with my parents. And so I'm walking around, going into restaurants and cafes, and every bathroom has a sign on it that says, the bathrooms are for our customers, or you can pay €1. I'm just like, oh crap, what am I going to do? So I finally found my parents, and I'm just like, is there anything you need to buy, because I need to go to the bathroom? And my dad and I are looking all over. We end up going to one cafe, and of course they have that same sign on their door, and my dad tries to explain to the waiter, she's sick, can she please use your bathroom? And I'd like to think that he didn't understand, because he was just like, bathroom for non-customers, €1, and I'm just like, Dad, buy a water bottle or something, and we only had 10 kuna, which is the equivalent of a $2 bill, and the water bottle cost 20 kuna because, we were in a super touristy area, which means, of course, everything has to cost double what it is. So, my dad just finally paid the €1, and I used the bathroom, and I was definitely not happy about it. Part of me actually wanted to stay in the bathroom the whole day, just, like, I paid for this bathroom use, I'm going to stay here and, see what you feel about charging for the bathroom then. But, yeah, I didn't want to ruin my last day of vacation doing that. But I don't know, I really didn't feel good about it. I'd like to assume that if they understood that I have this illness that's causing me to go to the bathroom more frequently, that they wouldn't charge me, but part of me feels like even if they understood, they were in it to make money, and they were going to charge me anyway, and, before having my Jpouch and being diagnosed, I had seen signs for people charging for bathroom use, and, I sort of thought, before all of this, like, okay, yeah, like, that seems fair. If, they're not going to buy anything, they should be charged to go to the bathroom, because they should just have gone to the bathroom before they got to the touristy area. They should have prepared like me. But, of course, I was ignorant and an idiot before then, and now I understand that sometimes, no matter how much you prepare, and, I always went to the bathroom before I left, and every opportunity I had to go to the bathroom on my trip, I did. But it just, no matter how much you prepare, it didn't matter, Sometimes you still need to go to the bathroom in that area, and, for example, while we were in that touristy area, I think I needed to go to the bathroom 3 times, and, if it hadn't been for, going and getting gelato with my family and going out to eat with my family, I would have had to pay €3, and, I guess I sort of felt, for the first time, a bit discriminated against because of my disease, because, someone who had a regular digestive tract, who prepared like me and went to the bathroom before they got there and went and had the same outing that I did, wouldn't have had to pay the €3 like I did. I don't know if this makes any sense, and I'm sorry, I warned you, just a tiny bit of a rant, and it's over. That's the last bit of the rant for this video, I swear. But anyway, yeah, having a bit of money just in case is a good idea. And then, going along the same lines as that, is if you're traveling with a group, it's definitely, I think, a good idea before you leave to brief the people you're going with on the fact that you're probably going to have to make some bathroom stops along the way. Just letting them know. But I think, if you tell them this, you can sort of get to the point where you view all of these bathroom stops as part of your vacation, and not just a hassle part of your vacation, but as something that enhances your trip. You know, for example, my family was taking a trip that took 5 hours to get from A to B, but it took us the whole day because we were making various pit stops, and several of them were for me to go to the bathroom. One of which we stopped in this place, and as it turns out, the town was actually really cool. And so, while I'm in this cafe going to the bathroom, my parents end up talking with this group of people from all sorts of other countries, and they end up buying my dad and brother some beers, and, it was a very, European traveling-esque, kind of situation that they had, and, my mom and I went and explored this really funky town, none of which would have happened had I not needed to go to the bathroom. So, there are definitely points where these restroom stops can actually be a good part of your vacation and, enhance it a bit. So, yeah. And I guess going with that, if you have friends that you're traveling with that like to take coffee breaks, that is a pretty beneficial thing, so that you can stop at a cafe and use the bathroom, especially if you're in Europe, because cafes are really big there. And I started thinking about, what it would be like to be traveling more with my friends who are, more my age, as opposed to my family who, as a family, our budget was a little bit bigger, whereas, traveling with my friends who are just recent college grads, we don't have all that much money to spend. So I thought, maybe what would be good is, if you sort of have a lineup where, at this rest stop, one friend is going to buy a cappuccino, which in Europe tends to be one of the cheapest things on the menu, and then the next rest stop, another person's going to buy the cappuccino, and so, at each place you need to stop to go to the bathroom, if just, a different person gets a cappuccino, that way, the cost of needing to stop and use a cafe's bathroom doesn't amount to something so big. That might be something that is helpful. I don't know, again, I was traveling with my family, so I didn't test this theory, but it might be something you consider. And after all of these stops to use cafes and restrooms, I actually found out that I really like European cappuccinos, so I guess that's another good thing that came out of traveling with a Jpouch. Yeah. And then I guess the next thing is just sort of, advice that is applicable to anyone, not necessarily traveling, but just sort of living their daily life as well, is just, make sure to use the bathroom whenever there is an opportunity. I mean, always use the bathroom before you leave for the day. If you see a public washroom, and even if you don't need to go to the bathroom, maybe try every time you stop for lunch or dinner or anything, try and use the bathroom. Just to sort of minimize the amount of times that you have to make pit stops and things like that. It's just, a helpful thing to do. So yeah. And then, I guess I didn't really talk about what it was like flying with a Jpouch, other than the fact that you can bring Septina on the plane. And I guess tips in regards to flying, well, I think seating arrangements, it probably is a bit more beneficial to get an aisle seat, just because, I mean, generally you need to go to the bathroom more than once on the plane with a Jpouch, so, just having that aisle seat so you can get right out and hop on through is probably a bit more convenient, but I mean, I love a window seat, and, that just wasn't something that I was going to sacrifice, and I mean, fortunately, I was either sitting with my family or had no one next to me, so it wasn't an issue for me this particular time, but I could see in the future where, if I'm sitting with strangers or something and have to keep, waking them up or something to get to the bathroom, that might be a problem. So definitely consider an aisle seat. It might be more convenient. And maybe a seat as well towards the back of the plane, just because that's usually where the restrooms are, and that way you can fairly easily see whether or not someone's there or not. That might be helpful. I didn't really find, my dad suggested that maybe I should try and tell stewardess that I had this disease and should, try and, might need to go to the bathroom more frequently than other people. I didn't really find the need to tell anyone that, it just, it's not like the lines for the bathroom were crazy long and I could usually wait, so, yeah, but I mean, that might be something that you might want to do. And let's see, I guess as far as, like, the experience of flying and, like, how it felt, because I was a little concerned about, whether or not flying with a Jpouch might feel weird. And to be honest, it really didn't. I did notice every time I flew throughout the trip, I think I did have a bit more gas and things like that, which, was a bit uncomfortable, but, I survived. And that was pretty much, besides needing to go to the bathroom more frequently, that was pretty much the only difference as far as, flying experience with a Jpouch, as far as, in comparison to not flying with a Jpouch, I guess. But yeah, that's really about it as far as things that I can think of for traveling with a Jpouch. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say that it's easier to fly with a Jpouch than flying with the typical full digestive system. It definitely is a bit more challenging, and you have to go with the flow. I did only have to use the woods to go to the bathroom on the beach once, but it happens. And I mean, there were definitely a few times where traveling with a Jpouch got me down a bit, but ultimately you just have to remember that you're in a different country, or you're in a different state, or wherever you are. You're there on vacation. You're supposed to be having fun, exploring the world. You shouldn't let this Jpouch get you too down. So yeah. If you have any traveling tips or traveling stories or anything, or questions or comments, just leave a comment below or message me, and that would be excellent. Alright, see you later.